Over many years you may have signed petitions that express your concern that climate change is real and must be fought. Your concern has grown because we have not yet even started to reduce carbon emissions that lead to global warming. Instead of declining, carbon emissions have grown, and so have global temperatures. Join Mobilize now, a worldwide movement that is dedicated to taking action to solve the climate change problem. Selected projects from MIT's Climate Collab, properly funded and enabled in a global action plan, will solve the climate change problem. A donation to Mobilize now makes you a member of an enlightened group that supports taking immediate action to support projects that fight the greatest threat ever to humanity. Saeed Majdi is one of the original authors of the Global Climate Action Plan that is requesting crowdfunding for the projects that make up their Global Action Plan, the plan they titled, Make Climate a Top Priority for Action by Every Global Citizen and Organization. Mr. Majdi, your team, Mobilize Now, won an award from MIT's Climate Collab. How is it different from other projects that propose to reduce carbon emissions?
Mobilize Now came up with something more than a project. It came up with a system of projects. Systems thinking, which was largely invented at MIT, allowed us to identify over 20 projects that, implemented together, could actually solve the climate change problem. These projects, when taken together and fully implemented, would bring emissions down enough to stabilize global temperatures at a sustainable level.
Fully implementing over 20 projects sounds expensive. How does your team suggest that be paid for?
Not enough is being done to reduce carbon emissions that cause global warming. What we propose are additional steps to the steps that were agreed upon at the 2015 Paris Accords. Our additional steps can be paid for by simply diverting funds now going to subsidize fossil fuels. It is simply common sense to do so. One of our projects, already being readied for implementation, is to advocate for diverting fossil fuel subsidies to funding our projects. That advocacy project will be supported by this crowdfunding effort and our contributors who represent a number of international environmental organizations.
Dylan Husted signed on as a contributor to the Mobilize Now Global Climate Action Plan. He is the founder and CEO of Savono. Dylan, why have you become a contributor to this plan?
My generation has a unique position in climate history. We bear both the consequences of past emissions and the responsibility to prevent future emissions. We are the last line of defense in the fight against climate change, and I've devoted my life to building the strongest defense we can. Mobilize Now's Global Climate Action Plan is a comprehensive, systems-level plan to mitigate climate change on a global scale from the ground up, and it has even been vetted and backed by MIT's Climate Collab community. I think the real question is, why wouldn't I join?
Please make a generous contribution by clicking the Contribute button below. Any size contribution is needed and appreciated.